Wow, good seeing everybody in real life. Familiar faces and new faces that I've never met before, and happy to talk afterwards. So a little bit about myself. Born and raised in Puerto Rico. Moved from Puerto Rico to Miami when I was 13. Been here in Miami for 30 years now. I have a wife of 17 years and a daughter that's 5 years old. And my daughter's best friend, our puppy, Lucy, also lives with us as well. And just a little bit about me. I'm an avid cyclist. I love cycling. That's one thing that I do on my pastime. It's my therapy. One of my favorite things to do with cycling is traveling. And here's an example. About 2 years ago, I went to Jamaica and did a 160-mile ride in 1 day. It's a lot of fun. Went from Kingston to Madrid. But yeah, I really enjoy that. One of my favorite books as well. If you guys are interested or have ever read it, it's called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's kind of the whole story of how Nike was founded and how it started. I really enjoy kind of reading business books and things like that to kind of inspire. And just a little bit of a history of myself and kind of where I've been to where I've been and where I'm at now. Right after high school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do from a career perspective, fortunately. So I graduated high school in 1997, and I knew I wanted to get into design. I knew I wanted to design or get into some kind of technology. And the only thing I really could do or could find in South Florida to work in design besides advertising companies was print shops. And I was really fortunate for that because I enjoyed the tactile side of things where I worked in the back of the house where I was cutting paper, cutting film, working on big machines which were called like Heidelbergs. They were like the size of this room that printed, small little trifle brochures, things like that. And from there, I went to an advertising agencies that worked. If you're familiar with Singular Wireless, they're now called AT&T, obviously. But those junk mail that you get in the mail nowadays that have like all these deals for cellular phones and stuff like that. You could pay me for that. I was a part of an advertising agency that did a lot of those things. And to this day, I still credit some of that time to what I do now in my company with like design processes and things like that, because of the fast turnaround on some of those things, right? So we had to get approvals from brand teams to approvals from the franchisees, and then get it sent out to print all within a week, so that you can start working on the next deals for the next week. So from there, I worked in-house at Toyota and Lexus. That was a lot of fun working on a bunch of their kind of global campaigns, a lot of in-house work, a lot of things like that. Worked in between some of this. This is kind of scattered here, but in between some of this, I did a lot of freelance work. I had my own little company here and there. I started working for Apple Retail as I still had my freelance company, and then after that, I worked at a global nonprofit, which is where Jonathan and David met there as well too. And then from there, I started my own agency. I worked with a lot of really cool kind of real estate projects here in South Florida. Obviously, that there's a lot here. So working with like W Hotels and Conrad, super high-end, ultra luxury stuff, from website design to app design that was doing for them, to a lot of advertising as well. From there, I went to work at a presidential campaign. I was in charge of the entire design team for that presidential campaign, from their app to their website to any kind of social work that had to get done. I would say the best of times and the worst of times, because it was like 18-hour days for an entire year, pretty much. But I did work with probably the most smartest people that I ever met, and it was a lot of fun there for sure. And then worked for an agency that did a lot of work for Bacardi and their entire portfolio, which is a lot of fun, building some of their apps, building some of their websites, and maintaining them. that to my agency as well, where we did a lot of work for a lot of sports brands and things like that. And then long story short, from there, my agency was then acquired by where I'm at now, which is called Wheelhouse. And our office is here right behind Panther. Award-winning design studio. We have kind of three sectors. We're an investment company. We also help out operationally, and then we have a design studio as well. Some of our clients are our portfolio clients, but for the most part, we do work independently as a design agency that gets our own clients and works on different projects. Most of our clients are in startup world, where we do help out with brand, but then also with whatever product they're actually building or creating, the design and help launch them. Here's some of our work. And so what we're here for, so obviously Friends of Figma, thank you guys for inviting me again. And yeah, so how do you leverage product design to bring value to your business or company? I'm not going to get into like the details of like how to design something or how to create design systems or anything like that. I'm going to keep it kind of high level. And a little bit more inspiration. Is that cool? Awesome. So 3 areas that I think as product designers, as people that are designing products or anything like that, I'm going to talk about 3 areas where I feel like we as my company as well, where we focus and push and try to leverage design to help some of these companies that we work with or some of our portfolio companies kind of level up or and so the first one is brand, right? So brand consistency equals trust, right? That's one of the biggest things that you always have to do when you're working and when you're designing anything. A brand can live without a product, but a product cannot exist without a brand. If you're working at an early stage company or some kind of in-house or some kind of enterprise coming as part of the product team or anything like that, sometimes brand gets kind of overlooked because what is brand, right? It's kind of nebulous. What does that mean? A lot of people think it's just like a logo and a website, but it's actually a lot more. A brand, it's a promise. So we hear a lot about brand-led growth versus product-led growth. So brand-led growth focuses on the feeling, on the tone of voice, on the emotion, on the positioning. It's a brand promise, right? All of that equals the brand promise. And then you have product-led growth that focuses on the innovative and user-friendly side of that product. And so the product-led growth kind of fulfills that brand promise. So companies that really excel and do really well are companies that can merge both of these, right? So you have a product-led team, you have a brand-led team that know how to work together. And so here's just some examples. I think some things that can help when you're thinking about product design, when you're thinking about brand itself, is consistent brand messaging. So ensuring that the product messaging aligns with the brand messaging, tone of voice, and visual identity. I don't know if you guys, so from a product message to a brand message, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced a situation where something has been promised to you, but the realization of it is actually not what it was. So that's basically this, right? So when product messaging and brand messaging come together, you have great product design. And then design systems. We think about that a lot for product design, but we have to think about it from all touch points, right? So how can a brand that exists, how can you build product design, these design systems, not just for an app, not just for some kind of web app, or how does that tie to everything else from marketing to branding to product design? And the way I look at this is that a lot of design teams kind of take this as like a big daunting project, but the way that we kind of position it is a continuous, ongoing thing, and it's not something that's just done once, right? It's something that you continue to every day. And the next thing is breaking convention, right? Breaking convention, you create a unique and engaging user experience. That's a good way to kind of add value, right, to in product design. A good example of this, I don't know if you guys remember this product at all, Mailbox. This was in 2013, I don't know if you guys remember this at all, but this is a company that broke convention by being completely different, right? So in 2013, they put out a really dope campaign about this cool mail product for iPhone that was going to launch, and 30 days later they sold for 100 million and Dropbox bought it. So this is a good example of like you can have a brand before a product, right? So they invented the swipe gestures, which is what we see on our mail phone we use now, like Archive or Delete. They invented that with this product. They invented snoozing on mail, and they also invented auto swipe, which is kind of cool. So being different definitely helps you leverage product design to bring value to your company. I don't know if you guys remember when Snapchat was launched, but this was back in the days. So obviously breaking convention can add more user engagement, right? So creates more engaging and memorable user experiences. They invented this whole kind of disappearing posts and things like this. The vertical videos, they pioneered that. So a lot of the stuff that we're used to now, they broke convention and brought that into design. Filters and lenses, obviously run into that. And this is one of our clients that I want to use as an example as well. They're called Transmit. So if you guys have ever watched any kind of sports, live sports streaming or anything like that, you get like a picture-in-picture ad or something like that kind of breaks what you're watching. Kind of similar to this right here. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. They built that platform where advertisers can go in, choose a specific demographic, and then target these advertisers, the users. So this is what they had before before we worked with them. So kind of just a form editor where you would put in a URL and things like this to kind of build what you would see here. And what we worked with them on was this kind of slick WYSIWYG canvas editor where the advertiser or their team themselves, their ad team, would be able to see what these ads would look like visually, and we design and help them kind of build out this whole back-end platform. And the last kind of category is strategy itself. So product design strategy should be aligned with the company goals itself. So us as like product designers or designers, we should understand the company goals, right? What it is that they want to specifically do as a company. This is an example here. One of our clients, Front Office Sports, they're like ESPN meets Bloomberg or ESPN meets Wall Street Journal, but a publisher, a news company, but on the business side of sports. And so understanding their objectives were to how do you connect sports and people that are in business or just like business, right? People that want to know about who bought what, who got what kind of a deal, did Nike sign this person, and so for how much, right? So understanding those business objectives help us come to the conclusion of like adding sports tickers adding stock tickers to a sports website, right? That's not something you would normally see. And then being able now to sell this as a package, these stocks provided by Fidelity, for example, right? So being able to understand their business objectives and goals, and then designing towards helping them make revenue off of that. And other things that we've helped kind of design and ideate with them, so like ad placements, widgets that are built into newsletters where they can sell, like betting now for different kind of games that are happening that night, things like that. So that's understanding the business objectives, I think is very important. And then identifying and tracking kind of metrics and KPIs. As a designer, you should know about these things, right? What works, what's not working. This is some of the stuff that we did for the presidential campaign. Just simple switching of colors from a donate page, from a red to a green button, equal millions of donations from one email. And understanding those kind of things and then iterating on them, right? So not just being a doer, but also understanding those things and making decisions that help the company specifically add revenue and things like that. And yeah, so going back, so 3 things: brand, breaking convention, and strategy. And just want to leave you guys with one thing: the businesses that embrace design generate 32% more revenue. This is from a study by McKinsey, but I just want to tell all of you guys that whoever in product design, you're more than a pixel pusher. You're a person that is adding revenue, adding business to wherever you're working.